Hello, hello. Hello, bonsoir. I know I'm not as exciting as the drink bar line, but welcome, bienvenue. Moi, je suis Cristal, vice-présidente du QWF, vice president of the QWF, and I am so excited to be here to celebrate all of our local authors. On a hâte de célébrer les autrices, les auteurs d'ici ce soir. So I want to start tonight by giving thanks for the land and the waters that surround us. Remember that Jojage, Montreal, has been a gathering place for millennia and still remains the unceded territory of the Ganikaga and other indigenous peoples. We must recognize their ongoing stories and oral practices, which inform our work as writers and literary artists. Remember that we, First Nations, Métis, Inuit, settlers, immigrants, people brought here against their will, live here together. We must never forget our experiences and roles and those of our ancestors in colonization and subsequent and ongoing injustices, and must strive to live alongside one another in peace, mutual respect, and as allies to steward the lands and waters that sustain us. So, walk gently and respectfully on these lands. And we commit at the QWF to investing resources and efforts towards this goal in friendship, esteem, and in the pursuit of justice and equity. And, yes, please. And tonight, as at all other QWF events, we are proudly dedicated to working toward a safe, respectful, and inclusive environment for everyone. We will not tolerate any behavior that is predatory, harassing, or hateful, because no participant at a QWF event should ever be made to feel physically or psychologically unsafe, intimidated, harassed. So look out for one another. And if you need support tonight, you can actually talk to one of the active listeners who are here for you. They'll be wearing yellow badges, but also maybe I can ask them to stand up. We've got Angelina Ortiz, Afrina Noor, Deb Van Slet. So, yeah, please stand and wave, and thank you to all of you. And to learn more, you can read our full Safer Spaces policy, which includes a reporting process on our website under the policy section. So I'm excited to make many cheesy, only a few cheesy remarks about reflecting on our future. So to reflect on our future, let's reflect on our past. It's been an incredible year at QWF. And I really encourage you to read the program, to see some of the too many to list highlights. But to name just a few, we have just launched a new online literary magazine for Quebecers aged 14 to 21 for youth, and it's named Quist. Please check it out online. Yeah. We've also formed a new partnership with the Conseil des Arts de Montréal, which presented local writers with over $20,000 in grants. And one other thing, our membership, drum roll please. It reached its highest count ever yet. So I am excited to report that we are over 900 strong. So thank you, actually. And finally, thank you also to our prize sponsors. I'm excited to report that the first time in many years, actually all of our book prizes tonight have sponsors. And with special thanks to QWF member Joe Ron, who's actually here tonight. He's going to present the Mavis Gallant Prize for Nonfiction. Joe Ron. All right. Now I can't wait to welcome to the stage who you're really here to see, our MC for the evening, author, broadcaster, actor, comedian. He has performed worldwide, host of CBC Radio's stand-up comedy show Laugh Out Loud, guest host on the last season of The Next Chapter, host of Canada Reads, with appearances in award-winning movies, TV, including French Immersion, Goon, Designated Survivor, and many more. Also, starring in cross-country tours as part of Just for Laughs Comedy Night in Canada, hosted by Rick Mercer, and his own solo shows, Muslim Interrupted, and Does This Taste Funny? His comedic memoir, Is There Bacon in Heaven?, is out now with Simon & Schuster, which Rick Mercer described as perhaps the funniest and most heartfelt Canadian memoir yet. Please join me in giving a warm welcome for Ali Hassan.
Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. Bonsoir, Montréal. I never tire of saying bonsoir, Montréal. I say it in Etobicoke, and nobody really gives a shit about that at all. This is awesome. I don't have a place to here. This is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. What a great show of support for Quebec literature. And how about this venue? Let's give a nice round of applause to Lion d'Or. I think you probably know it. You've been here before. I performed on this stage in 2016. I performed right here for the BBC. BBC came to Montreal. It was the Arts Hour comedy show, and they were filming in Montreal. It was a fantastic show. My friends Iman El Hosseini, Jess Solomon, I don't know if you know them, they were like Canadian originally, comedian power duo, were on this stage. The BBC loved them so much, gave them their own comedy radio show on the BBC for 3 years. Yeah, they walked away from the show and they got a divorce. I shouldn't have brought it up, actually. It's not a great story, but the venue, come on, 95 years old almost. Lots of stops and starts in there, Montreal style, closures, reopening, remodeling. But yeah, this is a beautiful, historic spot to be part of. The food here, I have to say, as a Montrealer, to walk in and be greeted with bœuf tartare. That doesn't happen in Toronto. I'm telling you right now, nobody's eating raw beef in Toronto. They're turning their nose, and then to be walking around with a foie gras mousse on a spoon, just licking it like a lollipop. One of the most Montreal things I could have been doing, I was doing here. I couldn't have been greeted in a more Montreal way. But enough about the food, which I could go on about for quite a bit, as you can imagine. This is about local writers and supporting this writing community. And although my memoir, Crystal mentioned, Is There Bacon in Heaven? Definitely connected to Montreal, connected to my memories, which are all really here until my mid-30s, connected to pork, which I discovered here, obviously. Where else? What better place? My connection to Montreal is the reason I'm here. She was like, I don't imagine you want to get on a train and come and host this event. And I think my connection to Montreal is such that, I do want to. I still have the 514 phone number, which really, if you want to bother a Torontonian, just don't change your number. And it's just so, why do you still, none of your business. How about that? You'll get it out of my cold, dead hands. Anyway, that's all I have left. The kids are born in Toronto, everything's in Toronto, but at least this is all I have, and events like this is something I have and keeps me connected to my hometown and the place I loved. And of course, my love and admiration is with writers, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, from having the writing experience and knowing what kind of discipline is required. I didn't have it, I found out, and I still have a book somehow. My editor had to put me in basically a hostage situation in this Simon & Schuster boardroom for 3 weeks. He was like, you're not leaving here until you've written this. You can go home at night and visit your family, and then you come back in the morning. And that was the only way. But the discipline and the creativity and this idea of you write on your own, and you're like, is this good? I don't know if this is good. That belief in yourself, just you and an editor, I don't know. I'm so enamored by the process. I'm so impressed with how many people take it up, and I'm so impressed with how many people get honored and celebrated for the work. That's what we're going to do today. So let's get started. What do you say? We should do this. We have a night ahead of us. We have about 12, I would say, a dozen awards to get through. We have some videos we will show. One of the awards will be presented in French. We'll see if I still have any of that left. That'll be slow. That'll be a slow read. But we're going to start with the QWF College Writers Award. Yes. Young writers. I know what I was doing in college, and it was not writing, that is for sure. So good for all of these people. This prize is sponsored by Champlain, Dawson, Heritage, John Abbott, Marianopolis, and Vanier colleges. This prize, yeah, well, let's give them, yes. It was only this guy. I want you to know that none of you were going to clap, but this guy right here made sure, like, I'm not going to stop clapping until everyone joins me. Good for you for caring about academics. You're alone, but you're strong. The prize is awarded for the best short story, poem, or work of nonfiction written in English by a student of one of the sponsoring colleges in the past academic year. The jurors for the prize were David Connor, Val Rigema, and Olivia Shan. They'll be joining me on stage very soon. And the finalists for this year's prize are Man Crush by Clara Frey, Dawson College. Echoes of Laila by Maxence Gagné from Champlain St. Lambert. I went to Champlain, got kicked out, went to Dawson. I mean, my heart is really here, part of this. Static Before the Storm by Jessica Thabarge, Heritage College. Those are our three finalists, and I'm going to ask Olivia Shan to come up on stage. She'll be presenting the prize. Olivia's right here. Hi, Olivia. And the trophy is going to be presented by John Wickham, who's QWF's communication officer. I'll leave it to you guys.
Good evening. Hi. So here are just some comments from the jurors on tonight's nominees. Man Crush by Clara Frey. An understated poem of lightness and poignancy, Man Crush considers and contrasts the extraordinary with the mundane, offered the unlikely perspective of a contemporary domestic couple and one partner's latent reverence for the late Russian dissident Alexei Navalny. About Echoes of Laila by Maxence Gagné. A compelling and surreal story of a love that was not, Echoes of Laila brilliantly and poetically captures the longing of wanting to know without ever being known through the mysterious meeting of two strangers. Each other's nighttime confidants, their unique relationship temporarily offers solace in the void of loneliness and solitude. And finally, on Static Before the Storm, by Jessica Thabarge. Teeming with repressed tension, Static Before the Storm recalls the ease and fragility of youth through vivid, loving descriptions of children playing by a river. The speaker's forlorn testament captures the sensorial powers of memory, while its darker implications of violence and abuse culminate in its gut-punching final stanzas. So those are tonight's nominees. So the winner presenter is unfortunately sick, so I will step into the role. So the winner of the prize is Maxence Gagné of Champlain College St. Lambert for Echoes of Naila. The cash prize is $1,000, and Maxence's prize will be published in Carte Blanche, the Quebec Writers Federation's online literary journal. Congratulations.
So thank you. I'm very honored to receive this prize. I don't think my English teachers are ever going to believe me when I when I say that I have won a prize for a text written in English. And I want to thank my family, who they always believed in me more than I did myself. And finally, I want to thank, even though she has been dead for 30 years, Marguerite Duras, because it's because of her that I found my writing style. So thank you for this prize, and thank you to everyone.
Well, I'm very happy for Maxence. I'm also happy for Champlain College. I mean, that is, so my parents were both at Dawson College. My dad taught English there, and my mother was the secretary there. And I was like, I am not going to go be part of any of that. I don't need to be watched over by my parents. So I went to Champlain, and I played cards, and I failed a lot of classes, and I got a 90 in fitness, which is an insult to fitness, by the way. There was nothing I was doing. Anyway, that guy was giving out 90s for no reason. And next thing you know, guess who needed to be watched over by their parents at Dawson? But Maxence, good to know that there's students who are making the best out of their education. Congratulations to him. Okay, the next award that we're presenting is the Carte Blanche Prize. And Carte Blanche Prize is sponsored by Mark Gallup. And presenting the prize will be the editor of Carte Blanche, Greg Santos. Greg, I'll let you take it from here. Yes? Greg, I'm going to be doing this a lot, I guess. Greg. Greg's dead, baby. I watched Pulp Fiction with my 13-year-old the other day. Zed's dead. Yeah. Zed was dead. Greg is right here. Greg is right here. Greg, are you... son of a...
Oh, hi everyone. I'm just coming out of my writer's vault, and it's a lot brighter out here on the surface. But good evening, everyone, and I'm pleased to be representing the QWF's online literary journal tonight. I'd like to offer a warm thank you to Mark Gallup. It is thanks to his generous sponsorship, which makes the 2024 Carte Blanche Prize possible. Before we begin, I would like to invite Zoe Shaw to come up and join me on stage. I want to take a moment to thank Zoe for her outstanding work with Carte Blanche as our managing editor for the past 5 years. She was pivotal in guiding our magazine through the rocky pandemic years, diligently keeping the team on schedule and on task, and was instrumental in building our new website. She aided me with the vision of Carte Blanche, and I will always be grateful for our work together. She has stepped down from the managing editor position and will be missed dearly, but Lori at QWF and I wanted to present a gift in her gratitude to Zoe. I think Zoe didn't know we were calling her up here today. So Zoe also chaired QWF Safer Spaces Committee for the 2 years or so that it took to develop a full-fledged policy. It involved a great deal of work, which she undertook with grace and goodwill. QWF and Carte Blanche are deeply indebted to her, and we'd like to present her with a small token of our appreciation for all she's done for us in both her roles. So thank you, Zoe. So the Carte Blanche Prize celebrates an outstanding submission by a Quebec writer or translator whose work was published in the magazine in 2024. The third place runner-up will receive $150. The second place runner-up will receive $200. And the first place winner will receive a cash prize of $500 and the Lori, a unique trophy created by artist Glenn Lemesurier of Van Horn Terminal Ironworks. This year, we are thrilled to have our guest juror, Clara Duplessis, accompany me on stage. Clara is a former editor-in-chief of Carte Blanche, and whose most recent publication is Postmortem of the Event, Palimpsest 2024.
Hi, everyone. I'm very pleased to be and honored to be here. So the 2024 Carte Blanche Prize finalists, I'm going to be listing them in alphabetical order. They are Deborah Ostrovsky, Lina Palacios, and Erin Robinson. And I'm going to read my comments about their very wonderful pieces that were published in Carte Blanche magazine, and then Greg will hand out those awards. So, in alphabetical order. Zoologies is a translation from Laurence Leduc-Primon's French to Deborah Ostrovsky's English, published in issue 49 of Carte Blanche. It offers a poetic series of fantastical, playful tableaux that draws the reader simultaneously into a childhood headspace and into a world of proto-erotic fleshiness that exists on the margins of the adult imagination. Take, for example, the passage, quote, "Our castle with turrets made of marzipan dragons and the water of lovers, your torso glows," unquote. This work dazzles with its ability to bridge registers, overlaying innocence and desire without letting the edges of either seep into each other. Ostrovsky's translation reads seamlessly and displays a clear ease in love for both languages. Playtime in Carmela's Room, a memoir by Lina Palacios, was published in issue 49 also of Carte Blanche. This work of creative nonfiction builds its story as a complex narrative that spans time, family lineage, and planes of existence. Opening with a line, quote, "These fragments are sharp and will make you bleed," unquote, the writing mirrors its content, bleeding formally through hybrid modes of prose, poetry, acronymic text, and scholarly research. More importantly, though, this work centers coming of age from an Indigenous perspective. It brings to life a world in which the protagonist can discover and honor who she is and who she is becoming through conversation with her elders and ancestors. This essay is both intimate and expansive. It combines a politically incisive voice with a narrative that is simultaneously formidable, relatable, and human. Finally, Erin Robinson's Bone-Eating Snot Flower, published in issue 48 of Carte Blanche, is a gentle tour de force. This poem is a resistant call, a provocative counteraction in a time of constant global conflict, but is also an offering of interaction, of a soft, gooey, fecund oneness between humanity and the world. I Google the bone-eating snot flower and find a strange underwater life form, one which resembles fleshy tubes similar to reproductive organs, but one which could also be hair or antenna or all manner of other possible connotations. It seems to defy definition and to evoke a sense of infinite elusiveness all at once. Robinson concludes on a note of complex hope, writing, quote, "Your wings are actually your foot, and the you who dies at the beginning gets born at the end," unquote. So I'm gonna call Greg back.
Okay. So without further ado, the third place runner-up is Deborah Ostrovsky for Zoologies. All right. If you're around, I have something for you, Deborah, if you're here. It's hard to figure out where to go through here in the dark. The second place runner-up is Erin Robinson for Bone-Eating Snot Flower. I haven't seen Erin, so I'm not sure if she's here tonight. Oh, hi. And the first place winner and recipient of the 2024 Carte Blanche Prize and the Laurie is Lena Palacio for Playtime in Carmela's Room, a memoir. Congratulations.
I was not planning on making a speech. This is beautiful, by the way. I'm going to have to guard it with my life. I have 3 kittens at home, Sunny, Cher, and Kimchi, and they're holy terrors. So this, I'm going to, we'll make sure it works. I wanted to thank this means a lot, okay? I wanted to thank Zoe. I wanted to thank Katie, and Greg and the other amazing people at Carte Blanche, who made me feel extremely welcomed. And I really hope that we, in this time and age, continue to write in ways that are not afraid to and sometimes, I just have to just say, like, sometimes I think it's really bizarre that when we want to hurl insults at writers, we say, your writing is too political. And in this day and age, I think it's an insult to say your writing is not political. And I think at this point, in this time, all I'll just say is one of my favorite writers, it's so funny, I'm blanking out on this right now, Billy Ray Belcourt made this really a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful saying where he says, I don't always want my writing to sound like a pamphlet that you pass out during a protest. But he says, I want my writing to sound like 1,000 people in protest. So that is actually what I'm going to continue to aim for. Thank you to my elders who resisted for 500 years to make sure that I can come on stage with my beautiful pink hair and share this with you. Thank you.
Yes, congratulations. Absolutely. I'd like to take a moment now to honor and to celebrate a few of the shining lights of our community. And I wanted to start by acknowledging that this year we lost 2 valued, irreplaceable members of the community. And so I would like to take this opportunity to invite writer-editor Layla Marshy, editor of Baraka Books, author of The Philistine, and also the Theory of the People, My Theory of the People, which is coming out next year, to say a few words.
More pink hair. The QWF is a community, I think, as we all know and as we know more and more. As we move through it, and when we lose people, we really lose a part of ourselves. We lost 2 people this year, maybe more, and I'm sorry if we're missing somebody. It maybe wasn't as prominent in our attention, but all of us are mortal, so chances are. So this year we lost 2 wonderful, hardworking, multi-talented, luminous women, Blossom Thom and Robyn Fadden. An Ontario transplant, sorry, I've been sick, so my voice is not great. An Ontario transplant by way of New York City, and before that, British Guyana. Blossom Thom came to Montreal in the 90s. She found a home in the writing community, participating in readings, working as an editor, and in 2016, publishing her first book of poetry, the prophetically titled #Relief. In 2017, she began working in Baraka Books, and in 2021 was appointed fiction editor. She was ready for anything, ready to grow and ready to become and be. She was a wonderful person to work with, warm, smart as a firefly, and sprung like a coil, poised to take it all on. You just knew she was going to blossom even more. But in April 2024, only a handful of months after an aggressive cancer made itself known, Blossom died. Among her family, she left behind 2 beautiful nieces she loved and mentored, and who loved her back fiercely. Robyn Fadden was another transplant from the West Coast. She landed here in early 2000s and quickly set herself up in the city's cultural scene, writing about it in Hour magazine and the Montreal Review of Books. She gigged with Tourism Montreal, managed McGill's Delve magazine for, I think, the Des Hotels School of Business, but I didn't write it down, so I'm not sure, and more. Robyn was eclectic, a keyboard player for her band, Tricera Treetops, a host of 2 radio shows at CKUT, and how I first met her, a very fine swimmer. It was at the pool, in fact, that Robyn first told me that she had cancer. This one took its time, and we kept thinking she'd return to clock in those laps. But Robyn died in September 2024, leaving behind her partner and their 10-year-old son. His birthday was one of the last events she celebrated. As Malcolm Fraser, editor of the Montreal Review of Books, said, Robyn was the poetry reviewer they had been looking for. In one of her last reviews of Ilona Martonchi's The Tempest, Robyn wrote, amid all these moments and memories endures art, the desire for freedom of artistic expression, and the balm of poetry for both the writer and the reader. A seemingly strange choice and mysterious way to make sense of anything, but poetry is an art that works, excavating the world to reveal what it really is made of. And finally, I leave you with some words by Blossom Thom from her poem Stardust and Moonlight. Beaches full of melted sun, iridescent air, lavender thoughts sprinkle yearning on sun-whipped skin. Oceans shout to the shore. I will sing to you of love, and waves recede with a kiss. Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like to now continue to celebrate our community. And I have the absolute pleasure of announcing this year's Judy Mappin Award. We give this award to honor and recognize the overwhelming contribution of a member of our community. Writer extraordinaire Chris DiRadio has been, to many of us, myself included, an inspiration. I learned so much from him. And he has served at the QWF as board member, president, not only that, but as committee member, writing mentor. For over 20 years, Chris has steadfastly made a difference as a producer, community worker, volunteer, always ready to provide help, foster, nurture, celebrate others. Chris has made an especially outside impact to the Italian Quebecois and queer writing communities, notably as the creator of the Violet Hour reading series and book club, as the LGBTQ+ programmer at the Blue Metropolis Literary Festival, and as the creator of the Blue Met Violet Prize. Here is what the writers who got together and nominated Chris had to say, among many other words of praise. Over the past 10 years, Chris has produced 164 events. Yes, I'll repeat that, 164 events. And also managed to write himself. I don't know how you do it. Bringing together these events, bringing together writers, translators, community partners from near and far, adding tremendously to the vibrancy of our local literary culture and to the visibility of Montreal English language literary culture far beyond our borders. And these accomplishments are outward manifestations of the great generosity, kindness, and good humor that characterize all Chris's interactions. These are not just nice personality traits, although they are expressions of the values that have made Chris such an open-hearted and open-handed member of our community. It's certainly no surprise to me, that Chris actually broke the record for nominees, people arguing for just how much he deserves the Judy Mappin Community Award. Please welcome this year's winner, Chris DiRadio.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm really happy right now. I want to thank the QWF. I want to thank the jury. I want to thank everyone who nominated me. This means so much to me. It was 2005 that I was here. It was my first gala. I remember like standing at the bar, watching what was happening in the room. And at the time, I was just an aspiring writer. I didn't even know if I had a book in me. But the thing that I left with was just like, I want to be a part of this community. And so I just want to thank you all for being a part of that community with me. It's really, really special. So, as much as this is a prize for one person, you can't really be a community alone. So thank you so much for being a part of this wonderful community. I'm also here in part because of the work that I've done with the Violet Hour reading series and book club. I also want to thank the people who've come onto my stage and who've shared their work. I also want to thank a lot of the readers who've come to the book club and really engaged in devouring LGBTQ literature. In particular, I want to thank Michael Belcher, Brooke Lee, and also Mark Gallant. And one of the things, like I said, this 2005, it was my first gala. Maybe some of you here, this is your first gala tonight. Just know that anything is possible. And, if you want to be a part of this community, get involved, talk to Lori, talk to some of the people. Really, it's opened so many doors for me, and I'm sure it will open doors for you. So again, thank you. This means the world to me.
Did he just surf? Did he just crowd surf? I was waiting for him backstage to come out, but he just he's out there. He's gone. All right. Well, congratulations, Chris. At this point, we start the presentation of what we call our major awards, not to take away anything from the awards that have already been presented, but these are the classic awards, book, playwriting, spoken word awards. And each award, in addition to a cash prize, does get this beautiful QWF Awards trophy behind me. I'm going to, no, I'm not going to touch it. I feel like I would ruin it. I was like, I'm going to bring it, and you know what? You could see it. You could see it, and there's less risk if I don't touch it. It's a unique paper sculpture by artist Colin Schley. Is Colin here, by the way? All right, okay. Colin designed it to reflect the concept of a book and used coffee, obviously a writer's most constant companion, to color it. That would have been heroin back in the day, so this is good. This is an improvement. The individual trophies can be adjusted into various configurations on their own 10-inch square bases, which are made of solid white birch and engraved with the prize name, the winner's name, and the winning titles. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Or maybe Colin is here and too shy, but... Okay, so we start with in this category, we start with the Spoken Word Prize. It is called the Ian Ferrier Spoken Word Prize, launched in 2022, renamed last year after poet, musician, educator, and former QWF president, Ian Ferrier. This prize is open to Quebec-based spoken word artists, storytelling artists, and literary performance artists who work primarily in English, in any form of performative writing, including poetry, story, monologue, hip-hop, dub, sound poetry, experimental, and interdisciplinary work. We had 7 finalists this year. Here they are. Fortner Anderson for excerpts from Reiterations. Let's give Fortner a nice round of applause. Simon Brown for Please Don't Tell Me. Mo Clark for Committing a Dream, Pagawan, Palestine. Lucia DeLuca for Congratulations. Emilia Malpica Iruegas for 21. All right. Somebody's excited or got murdered over there. I'm not sure which one it is. Somebody should just check in on that. Roger Sinha for Haters and Baiters, the Culture Collision. And Mac Vandenhoeven for Memory Justice. Okay. So the jurors for this prize were Jason Camelot, Rowan Higgins, and Janice Jolie. Please give them a nice round of applause, as well as Rowan Higgins, who's going to come up here and present the prizes tonight.
All right, so I'll be reading the jurors' comments. Fortner Anderson's performance of excerpts from Reiterations provides a precise, emotionally understated, yet deeply moving rendering of non-semantic lines and phrases from the algorithmic variations of reiterative poem sequence. You guys got that right. To deliver lines that avoid semantic meaning with such sonic effect, syntactical intention, and expressive impact is a tour de force. Simon Brown's Please Don't Tell Me is a delight and unexpected, irreverent poem, intensely delivered with fun use of absurdity and rhythm. Brown's conviction leaves me believing I really am a mother to the cabbage. In this musically supported cinematic poem, Mo Clark draws connections through indigenous struggles for self-determination and land rights. We are taken on a sparrow's journey over walls and borders, comparing native plants, herbs, and ancestral rivers, committing a dream. Pawagan Palestine is a powerful call for Palestinian freedom and land back for all indigenous peoples. Congratulations is a beautiful nostalgic narrative. In it, Lucia De Luca paints memories of her nonna, family dinners, and the passing around of Italian language. It ends with a grief-laden comparison of death and birth. In Emilia Malpica Eruega's piece 21, the poet's soft-spoken voice blooms with truth and sincerity, carried by a playful, organic flow. In Haters and Baiters, the culture collision, Roger Sinha captivates with his raw and unapologetic voice, pulling us to confront the reality of struggles while engaging us to tune into a deeper message. His rhyme scheme commands attention, acting as a force of poetic advocacy. Mac van den Oeven's performance of Memory Justice is powerfully intimate, honest, and bold in its understatement. Narrating a situation of connection through misrecognition across generations, Van den Oeven's delivery of this well-crafted poem uses subtle gestures and quiet, direct address to convey the speaker's right to refuse to be remembered wrong. All right, let's give a round of applause for our finalists. So, back in the days, we used to use letter openers. Don't be fooled by the face of the spray in the hair. My hair's not pink, but it's blue and bronze, so we're getting there. This is going down. All right. So drum roll, please. The winners of the 2024 Ian Ferrier Spoken Word Prize, each of whom receives $1,000, are Mo Clark for Committing a Dream, Pawagan Palestine. Lucia De Luca for Congratulations, and Mac van den Oeven for Memory Justice. Let's give them all a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Well done, congratulations.
All right, I guess I'll start. Kananaskom tinawao. I just want to say thank you to Yara El-Gaban, who was the one who initiated a Quebec literary tour of Palestine in May. I turned 40 around the well from where Mary used to gather water. This poem is inspired by Mahmoud Darwish, and his words, they tried to arrest us for committing a dream. May our words, may our poetry, may our stories continue to seed dreams for our children and for the land. So, kananaskomtin.
Thank you to the QWF, to the jury, and congratulations to the other finalists for this award. I wrote my poem about my grandmother's passing last summer, and I dedicate this award to her. One of the most important roles that literary performance plays in my life is that it allows me a space to grieve and commemorate through a creative process and in the form of storytelling. My grandmother had Alzheimer's, and before she died, I promised her that I would remember her for her whole life, and not just by the disease that ended it, and this is one of the gifts writing this poem gave to me. This year marks 10 years since I first performed spoken word at my grade 11 variety show in high school, and I'm so grateful to be standing here for every audience, no matter the size, every organizer and every mentor that has held space for me in the last decade. There's a 17-year-old Lucia in my heart that is absolutely bursting with joy right now, so thank you.
It's such an honor to be standing here, especially given the incredibly talented poets that were nominated for this prize, so thank you so much. I never had the pleasure of personally meeting Ian Ferrier, but I know how important he was and is to the spoken word community. So I feel super lucky to be able to be a small part of his legacy through this prize. I want to thank Throw Poetry Collective for giving me a soft landing and a place to come home to every single month. And I want to thank my partner Iris, who's here with me tonight, for being my favorite trans mask cheerleader.
Okay, congratulations to all three of them. Now we have the Concordia University First Book Prize. It's our first book prize of the evening. QWF is proud to have its first book prize sponsored by Concordia University, which offers the only BA and MA English language creative writing programs in Quebec. So the finalists for the 2024 Concordia University First Book Prize are Sabrina Reeves for Little Crosses, published by House of Anansi Press. Marjorie Silverman for Unspoken, published by Now or Never Publishing. And Sivan Slapak for Here Is Still Here, published by Linda Leith Publishing. Okay. So, that's not... That, you know, in comedy, when that stick like that comes out, you're like, but I didn't even, what did I, let me earn that stick, for God's sake. The jurors for the prize were Mark Abley and Nicole Marketich and Tavleen Puriwal. And presenting the prize tonight will be Mark Abley and Nicola Nixon, who is the Associate Professor and Chair of the Department of English at Concordia University. So please welcome Mark and Nicola.
It's a great pleasure to be back here, friends. Only when you leave this community do you realize what a beautiful community it is. So, about Little Crosses, the jurors wrote. A riveting, powerfully written novel about a family that somehow, against all odds, refuses to disintegrate. At the center of the narrative is a heartbreaking effort to save a loved one who does not consent to being saved. Delving into glorious, surprising, and heartbreaking details, Sabrina Reeves evokes a childhood riddled with contradictions and shows readers how one person travels a bumpy road to adulthood. There's justified anger, laugh-out-loud humor, and delicate eggshell walking. Reeves succeeds in evoking both the searing impact of alcoholism and the deep underlying love that sustains a family through grief and torment. About Unspoken, the jurors wrote, this collection of poetry delivers compelling words and powerful messages about a woman's place in the world, how one person circumnavigates devastating grief, and the vast chronicles that contribute to creating each individual. Marjorie Silverman's language plays around with space and form while maintaining a stable lyric voice and inviting readers in by means of poetry that surprises and reassures. Silverman beautifully weighs the role of private grief against that of global tragedy, of the infinitesimal against the universal, and of what is very hard alongside the poetically rewarding. And about Here is Still Here, the jurors wrote, a warm and engaging book of linked stories set in Jerusalem and Montreal. The stories speak to the delicate balance of anyone straddling at least two cultures, at least two languages, at least two ideas of home, and at the very least, overlapping and intersecting details and truths that make people both individual and part of a community. The picture Sivan Slapak paints of daily life in Jerusalem is fascinating. She demonstrates a mature, complex love of the city, tempered by an awareness of its many contradictions and injustices. Slapak is also superb at evoking the struggles of Holocaust survivors and their children in Montreal. There is a wry wisdom and considerable humor in these stories, along with hard-won self-knowledge.
Thank you. I'm very, very pleased tonight to announce the winner of the Concordia Book Prize, which has been going since 2011, and we have all kinds of winners in our department who are teaching, who are students, who are former students, and it is really a delight to be part of this. So the winner of the 2024 Concordia University Book Prize is Little Crosses by Sabrina Reeves.
No, I don't want to go out of airplane mode. Okay. I want to obviously thank QWF for all that they do for this amazing writing community, and of course for this incredible event. And I want to thank Concordia. This means a lot to me and is a tremendous honor. For the short time that I was at Concordia doing my master's, I learned so much. I learned how to write. And I would like to particularly thank Sina Kara and Kate Stearns for their faith in this project, which began as my thesis. And for feedback in the early stages, I want to thank Peter Behrens, Ann Day Jones, Trevor Ferguson, and Sean Michaels. And thank you to everyone at Anansi. Your love of authors and books is really, it's truly felt. And most especially, thank you to Siobhan Hearn, my editor, whose insight, tenderness, and precision are everywhere in the book. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And lastly, to my mother and my daughters, all of the best parts of me are thanks to you. Thank you.
Okay, we had mentioned, it was just me, the royal we. I had mentioned earlier out, we've got about a dozen awards to give out. We're almost halfway there, but we also have some videos that we were going to play. The videos that we're going to play tonight, we're going to play 3 of them, and each of them are from the winners of the spoken word prizes who you met just a little bit earlier, and we're going to play all 3 through the course of the evening. So first, you will remember her from 5 minutes ago, Mo Clark performing an excerpt from Committing a Dream, Pagawan, Palestine.
Lucid messengers who teach from on high, above mosque, church, synagogue, bells toll and calls to prayer deafen the silence as breast milk spills clouds are holding the weight of it all. Give me sumac for my sins. Spice my lips so red we will not go quiet into the night. Our exile will not be silent or sweet. Give me za'atar, I'll burn you sage. Pour me Maria Mia, I'll offer sistema. The farmer's eyes tire, planting seeds under moonlight. They only work at night, protecting their lands from the hands of settler destruction. Green eyes pour us cups of mint tea. We sip them slow, they fill bloodstream like the Jordan River where they go to anoint their dreams. Oh, we've known ancestral streams. The Elbow, Red River, Assiniboine, currents of crossing where we became and continue to be our ancestors' wildest dreams. They tried to arrest us for committing a dream, but we will never let them damn us. We call on Amisk Mashkeki, beaver medicine for balance. Steady the waters. May the violence pass through us. May our prayers dig deeper than any wall, any border they make believe is real. Like swallows' flight, we rise above intimidation and fear. Our intimacy lies in the language of dreams. So let us commit them to song.
As I mentioned, you'll see two more videos of the other winners of the Spoken Word Prize over the course of the next hour or so. Right now, we're going to present the finalists for the Janet Savage Blachford Prize for Children's and Young Adults Literature. So this competition was open to picture books with text and books for beginner readers. And I'll tell you who the finalists are. Marie Louise Gay for Hopscotch, published by Groundwood Books Limited. Second finalist, Marie Louise Gay. Again, second, working very hard this year, Marie, for Walking Trees, published by Groundwood Books Limited. Itwa Snowball and illustrator Emma Crossland for The Wolf Pup, published by Inhabit Media. And finally, Yayo, also known as Diego Herrera, for SOS Water, published by Tradewind Books. Let's give all four of them a nice round of applause. Yeah. The jurors for this prize, with arguably a pretty relaxed pace of it's picture books. So these guys, they shouldn't be coming on here stressed at all. Whoa. Yeah, no, tell me, why? What does that mean? Because it's just tough competition? Nobody said it wasn't important. What are you trying to do? Crucify me up here? I'm saying that you didn't have to read like dense poetry. It was nice. You got to read. Somebody take this woman outside. Security, we need to. She's one of the nominees. Take her outside anyway. This will teach her. Next year she won't do this. No, you're absolutely right to chastise me. It's good to have my mom here even when my mom's not here. That's what I like. The jurors, the hard-working jurors for this prize were Jeffrey Canton, Laura May Vogel, and Eldon Yellowhorn. Presenting the prize tonight will be Laura May Vogel and Eldon Yellowhorn. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
It's my honor tonight to be reading to you the comments of the jury. We did work hard. We did read hard. So about Hopscotch, the jurors wrote, borrowing from the school story, the fantasy story, the animal story, and even the horror story, among other genres characteristic of the children's literary canon, Hopscotch provides readers with a story of impressive psychological depth. It is also a wonderful ode to the child's imagination and the power of creativity. The images offer a clever visual exploration of Ophelia's psyche. They are colorful and luminous when all is right, dark and washed out when things get rough. All is heightened by Gay's use of many different techniques, so watercolor, pencils, and pastels, to name a few, are mixed with great ingenuity to build a rich visual world. About walking trees, the jurors wrote, "Forest bathing is a modern form of ecotherapy because nature is good for the soul. However, not everyone is fortunate enough to have a forest nearby when the mind needs refreshing." The author-illustrator introduces Lily, a young eco-warrior who decides to bring the forest to her city, one tree at a time, so her neighbors can feel the calm it can bring. The young activist soon inspires more of the people in her neighborhood to join her makeshift forest on the cement sidewalks of their town. With Walking Trees, Gay delivers a strong environmental message in a creative and effective way, and reminds us that no child is too small to change the world. About the wolf pup, the jurors wrote, "A thoughtfully told personal narrative based on Snowball's own childhood, this is a bittersweet ode to friendship, tinged with the anguish of loss and written in plain language from the first-person perspective. All too soon, books for novice readers are gathered into boxes to be donated or perhaps left at little sidewalk libraries for others to enjoy. Occasionally, you pull one out of the donation bin. You hang on to it like a keepsake and treasure the memories that spill out each time you flip through the pages. The Wolf Pup by Itois Snowball, illustrated by Emma Crossland, is one such book." About SOS Water, the jurors wrote, "SOS Water is an imaginative, inventive, and provocative picture book that not only tells an engaging story with simple but thoughtfully poetic text and humorous and playful illustrations, but, as importantly, addresses the climate crisis in a way that is accessible to children of all ages. Yayo opts for a minimalist yet eloquent style in which text and illustrations work together for maximum impact. Sober sentences are complemented by powerful illustrations made of clean lines and a pared-down color palette that explodes when the time is right. He masterfully adopts a light, sometimes comical approach to an all-too-serious topic, making for a strongly expressive contrast that delivers a deep message."
Ok, it's on it out there. Hello, how are you doing? The winner of the 2024 Janet Savage Blachford Prize for Children's and Young Adult Literature is Hopscotch by Marie-Louise Gay, published by Grand Wood Books Limited.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Quel plaisir. What a pleasure to receive this award. I was in such good company that I'm just surprised to be up here between Yayo or Diego Herrera's wonderful water book and Itois Snowball's Young Pup. Do I have the right name, title? I just am surprised to be up here and very happy. And I want to thank the jury of QWF and QWF for doing such incredible work in the literary world, encouraging children, adults to read and write. And it's so important. As Ali Hussein was saying before, where is he? Well, it wasn't very difficult for the jury to read these books because they're not long. But if you start looking at the illustrations in these books and that you're thinking that children who cannot read are able to read images as well as listen to words, I think there's much more involved in that. This was the little kerfuffle over here, because I was a bit upset to think that it was easier to judge. I am just going to end by thanking you and thanking QWF, but also encouraging you all here, who a lot of you are writers or intense readers, why don't you share that with the children, your grandchildren, children you just meet on the street? Read them books. Let them look at the images and enjoy sharing it with them. Thank you so much.
The scandal. Listen, let me just explain something here, okay? Number one, I have 4 children, okay? So I have read lots of books with lots of children. And it's always a pleasure to read that instead of the denser stuff that I have to read. So I said the jurors had the easy road because it was more of a pleasure. But also, Marie-Louise Gay, I know her name because I host for the last 4 years something called the Forest of Reading. Ontario Library Association has something called Forest of Reading. So I'm like constantly celebrating books written for children. Sometimes you just say something on the microphone. You know what I mean? You just say it. It means nothing. Then it's taken to something. Oh, well. Anyway, félicitations pour le vrai. I'm very, very happy for you and your hard work, Marie-Louise. Okay. Good. If that wasn't difficult enough, it's the French awards now. Okay. No, I'll get it. I pretend to my children that I know French still also, so I'll just keep the pretending going on. So now we do the présentation du prix de traduction de la Fondation Cole. Ce prix-là, oh, thank you. Listen, I'm just reading. If you try to get me off script, ask me one French question. I'm faking it with an accent right now. Ce prix récompense des personnes qui consacrent leur expertise et leur talent à jeter des ponts entre les communautés francophones et anglophones du Québec grâce à la littérature. Les années impaires, le prix est attribué à la traduction anglaise d'un livre traduit du français, alors que les années paires, like 2024, cette année, une traductrice ou un traducteur francophone est honoré pour sa traduction d'une œuvre écrite à l'origine en anglais par un auteur ou une autrice du Québec. So, les finalistes sont Paul Gagné pour le roman Fadden, l'histoire fantastique de Cybèle. Je vais juste ajouter que c'est publié par Flammarion Québec, une traduction de Fadden de Anne-Marie MacDonald, publiée par Alfred A. Knopf Canada. Deuxième finaliste, c'est Émilie Laramé pour le roman Les lignes invisibles. Yes. Ce livre est publié par VLB Éditeur, une traduction de... Oh man, I've seen this happen. What happens? I'm being attacked on stage. No, you just took the easy way up? Yes. Yeah. Am I going to be in a headlock for saying things about children's literature? Is this guy good? Okay, good. All right. I don't trust you. What do you... Publié par VLB Editor, une traduction de Cycling to Asylum de Sue J. Sokol, publié par Deux Voliers Publishing. Troisième finaliste, c'est Luba Markovskaya. C'est pour le recueil des poèmes Pelé les Ramboutanes, publié par l'Hexagone, une traduction de Peeling Rambutan de Gillian C., publié par Gaspereau Press. Cinquièmement, Stéphane Martelli pour le recueil des poèmes Équateur magnétique. C'est publié par Triptyque, une traduction de Magnetic Equator de Kai Kellel, publié par Penguin Random House. Et finalement, Sophie Voileau pour Te souviens-tu de ta naissance? We'll give Sophie a nice round of applause. Cet livre est publié par Alto, une traduction de Do You Remember Being Born de Shawn Michaels, publié par Random House Canada. Les membres du jury étaient Rémi Labrec, who I think I just met. Yes? No? Maybe? Francis Langevin, or maybe that's who I don't know. Et Soline Letendre. No, I don't. Le prix sera remis ce soir par Rémi Lebrec et Barry Cole, chef du conseil de la Fondation Cole. Please welcome Rémi and and back to the stage.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Alors, à propos de Fadden, les jurés ont écrit « Paul Gagné se montre ici à la hauteur d'un défi imposant. La fresque historique de MacDonald recèle de références obscures, de tournures latines ou victoriennes et de détours imprévus. Mais la traduction est d'une si grande qualité que l'on ne peut que saluer les prouesses d'un artisan de la langue. La complexité et la particularité du vocabulaire d'Anne-Marie MacDonald dans cette œuvre nous sont transmises dans la traduction de Paul Gagné avec aisance. On ne peut que se poser la question « Comment aurais-je traduit ceci ou cela ?» Puis, M. Gagné nous trouve la solution, évidente après coup, mais ô combien recherchée. À propos des lignes invisibles, les jurés ont écrit « À cheval sur les deux langues, comme le sont beaucoup de personnages ayant migré, les différentes voix qui forment le roman Les lignes invisibles parviennent à transmettre la matérialité polyphonique de la voix du roman Cycling to Asylum dans la voix en français. Émilie Laramé a su reproduire le style concis du roman de Judy Mappin, une œuvre qui se déroule à un rythme presque frénétique par moments, les phrases courtes s'enchaînant. La traductrice nous offre un portrait fidèle et fluide du mélange d'oralité et d'intériorité narrative que propose ce récit anticipatoire visionnaire. À propos de Peler les ramboutans, les jurés ont écrit « Après une page, on oublie de retourner à l'original, tellement la traduction de Luba Markovskaya prolonge et traverse le magnifique recueil de Gillian. J'aime beaucoup les solutions trouvées pour arriver à transmettre un rythme, une sensation, qui, comme celle de la première voix en anglais, semble dépourvue d'affectation, c'est-à-dire qu'elle est vive et brillante, toujours efficace, économe, drôle et immédiatement complice. Cela donne une véritable présence dans la voix poétique, un point de vue, une humeur, une richesse métaphorique et interstitielle qui se tient toute seule, pour ainsi dire, dans le jeu des échos, des répétitions aussi, ciselées puis polies. À propos d'équateur magnétique, la traduction de Stéphane Martelly est truffée de belles trouvailles, que ce soit en maniant d'exigeantes contraintes formelles ou en reproduisant le souffle incisif des poèmes de Kellow. Martelly s'en tire brillamment et avec un plaisir évident. Forte d'un souci de fluidité et de consonance salutaire, la traduction de Martelly rend avec brio l'esprit parfois caustique et l'altérité inhérente d'un projet poétique aussi ambitieux que celui de Kellow. Dans l'ensemble du texte, on y sent l'affinité de la traductrice pour ses textes, la nature caribéenne du contexte, de la langue utilisée sont absolument bien rendues par Mme Martelly. On y sent son expertise, son propre vécu, son bagage professionnel et culturel personnel. Et enfin, à propos de « Te souviens-tu de ta naissance ?» les jurys ont écrit « Le défi de ce livre, c'est de reproduire la qualité de la voix de cette narratrice surqualifiée, Marianne Farmer, 2F, une vraie poète sérieuse et vénérée, qui ne sait pas toujours ce qui parle à travers elle quand elle écrit. Puis, le style de l'algorithme, appelé Charlotte, imitant à son tour, s'est à donner le tournis. Voyot réussit à maintenir en équilibre les nombreux éléments de ce récit patchwork sans jamais perdre le fil du style d'écriture de Michaels qui passe d'un flux télégraphique à de longues phrases sinueuses chargées d'allusions. Au fil de notre lecture, on a parfois l'impression de lire une œuvre palimpseste qui dévoile les couches antérieures du texte en filigrane.
For a number of years, the Cole Foundation has sponsored this prize because we're very interested in making Montreal a cosmopolitan community that recognizes the many cultures through their arts. So we sponsored lots of theater and literature, spoken words, the stories of different cultures. But fundamentally for us, it is the translation of Quebec authors into English or English authors into French. And so we are very proud to present this prize. And the gagnant est Stéphane Matelli pour Équateur Magnétique.
They told us this. Okay. I would like to thank the QWF for this honor. When I was translating this beautiful, deep, complex work of Kaikalo's, he referred to his intellectual debts as gratitudes. Of course, my first gratitude extends to this amazing poet whose mastery of the many languages of the Caribbean, whose sense of rhythm and complex metaphors made way for one of the great books for me of the Caribbean of the century. Je voudrais aussi dire merci à mon éditeur Nicolas Dawson qui nous a accompagnés avec beaucoup de prudence et beaucoup de soin, avec une grande attention à nos sensibilités poétiques particulières. Je veux bien sûr remercier mon époux qui est avec moi ce soir et toute ma famille, ma mère, mon fils, pour leur soutien continu. And I would especially like to thank my daughter, who patiently waited for me the summer I worked on this translation. So thank you so much.
Félicitations, Stéphane. We're going to play the second video now, and this video is an excerpt from Congratulations by Lucia, who, as you remember, won the spoken word. It was one of the winners of the Spoken Word Prize, Lucia De Luca.
My Nonna Donata was born in winter, but grew her wings in her 91st summer. While she died, her youngest grandchild turned 17, and the rabbit's nest in the rich soil of my mom's oregano patch pulsed in the same inhale I watched Nonna's heart peek its ears from her shallow chest. At the hospital, a PAD asked, "English or French?" "Italian," I answered. Too late for either of them to share a language the way Nonna distributed leftovers on a Sunday afternoon. The only way I could enter her hospital room was by picturing a version of her before Alzheimer's, in her blue dress with the white flowers, getting up from the dinner table to take my hand and stand beside me as I watched her still chest. The rabbit's nest in my mom's backyard had hatched. So it was still two. The hand I was imagining caught the hesitancy in my palm with accuracy after patting her on her very real but lifeless shoulder and led me to the elevator. The Nonna I was imagining stood there until the doors were completely closed. Before reaching the ground floor, the elevator opened onto the maternity ward. A couple walked in with their newborn baby, grieving like a rooftop tennis ball, about to hit the schoolyard's concrete floor again. I looked from the tiny human that seemed bigger than Nonna was in her last moments, to their parents' smiling faces, fumbled to find the right word, lined it up in my mouth, but landed with little aim, and said, "Congratulations."
Thank you, Lucia. It's very powerful to see it performed much more than even in read. Obviously, it's a spoken word piece. The next prize is the A.M. Klein Prize for Poetry, which is sponsored by Byron Rempel. The finalists for this prize are D.M. Bradford for Bottom Rail on Top, published by Brick Books. Yeah. Mary Dean Lee for Tidal, published by Pine Row Press. Jay Ritchie for Listening in Many Publics, published by Invisible Publishing. And Derek Webster for National Animal, published by Véhicule Presse Signal Editions. The jurors for this prize were Joanne Arnott, Ross Leckie, and Nisha. Now, they had a real easy job. Am I right? No. Imagine I do it again like an idiot. No, they had it, obviously, every juror has a very tough job. We know. One thing I'll tell you, their job was so tough, and none of them are able to make it tonight. I don't know if they're still in recovery or what's happening there, but they are not here. So presenting the prize will be poet and QWF board member Ihab Lotayev, who will read the jury's comments, and he'll be accompanied by the prize's sponsor, Byron Rempel. Let's give them a nice round of applause.
I was told there was a cyborg plug-in station here. I guess I have enough battery to do this. So let's plug in the date. Future. Let's use pen and paper. About Bottom Rail on Top, the jurors wrote, "The through line in this conceptually pleasing archival romp is a negation, not a poem. This is a masterful series of questions that work to expose the depths of cruelty and greed necessary for the perpetrators of slavery to control black stories into the present day. Each poem is not a poem, is an entire unfurling of a world of stories, especially those Bradford extends into longer meditations. These meditations and thoughts form gathering places to sit with complex emotional pictures that cannot be served through question or poem alone. Bradford's question are loud claxons that cannot be ignored." About Tidal, the jurors wrote, "The sensuality and tenderness of the poems in this collection allowed one to immerse fully and, at the end of things, rise up refreshed. Words like wholesome, intimate come to mind, as does the sense of having been immersed in the voice of a lullaby. Each poem and line is well polished, nothing in excess, drawing qualities of lands, waters, and foliage, people, and moments in ways vivid but not startling. The poet brings the reader along on a journey of life. Her observations slide into sly humor, which brings forth embodied laughter." About listening in many publics, the jurors wrote, "One was moved by the compounding intimacy of the poems and the way they made memories into landmarks. Told over 3 parts, our long poems engage in circularity, allowing ending lines to lead next poems, calling back to familiar scenes as we move through the author's life in narrative overtures and deepening themes like the exploration of loneliness in increasing folds. These poems reinforce something true but unconstrained, that life is both the possibilities of the path and the path itself. It is a feat, an accomplishment, and a generosity to invite others in, as this collection does, with gentle conviction. And last but not least, about National Animal, the jurors wrote, Derek Webster's National Animal explores all the subtleties of what is to be Canadian in poetry that is exquisitely crafted. In Montreal, where questions of nation and nationalism have always been sensitive, and Indigenous, French, Anglo, and immigrant identities jostle together in anxieties, uncertainties, wishes, and desires, he comprehends the impossibility of Canada other than as a series of brutalities and broken dreams that cannot be expressed as an imagined community. Webster has a complete command of craft, and all these poems are taut and finely tuned. His images and metaphors are balanced in the hard and striking, all the way to the quiet and evocative. The emotional range is as complex and subtle as fine wine. And the winner is...
Hi, I'm Byron Rempel, the sponsor of this prize. Thanks to QWF for allowing me the honor of sponsoring that prize. The poetry, I have become convinced, is all written by AI, which is actual intelligence. Just keeping in our theme. The winner of the 2024 A.M. Klein Prize for Poetry is National Animal by Derek Webster, published by Vehicle Press, Signal Editions. You're a man.
Wow. Whoever wrote those comments, I guess it was the jury. They'll be getting their check in the mail soon too. Yeah. This is a wonderful surprise. I would like to thank our 3 jurors for doubling my readership tonight. And I'm hoping some of you will take a hint. It's very nice to be nominated alongside my good friend Mary Dean Lee, Jay Ritchie, fine poet, and Darby, who I think many of you know as well, all excellent poets, and it's just really nice to be in good company tonight. I'm going to thank Simon Dardick, my publisher. We all know Simon, of course. Also Jennifer Valconi and Patrick Goddard at Vehicle Press. David Drummond for his incredible cover for this enigmatic animal. My editor Carmine Starnino, and of course my wife Salima, who couldn't be here tonight, but will hear through the grapevine if I don't thank her. So she actually wrote that line. So some of you may know me from my magazine days when I was editor of Maisonneuve. I haven't been editor of Maisonneuve for 15 years. Some of you still call me editor of Maisonneuve, but you know, who's counting? I left the magazine business because it was all-consuming and had very meager remuneration. So naturally, poetry was the natural move from there. I've never been accused of being practical. But in all seriousness, it is great to get an award. I've been writing poetry since my 20s. And it's incredibly meaningful to have my work recognized tonight. Most of you who write poetry, and many of those people are here tonight, of course, you know that these moments are rare, so I'm very grateful for that. Thank you very much. And I'm just going to take one final second just to acknowledge tonight. It's really special to be here and to see Mark Abley here, and David Hamel here, and Linda Leith here, and Byron here as well, who sponsored the prize. These are people who have been my teachers when I was a young man. And I couldn't help noticing that I've been a workshop teacher to a number of the younger winners here tonight as well. So I feel that is, a version of a community, and I'm really grateful to be part of that. So thank you for that too. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to Derek. My father used to write poetry, among other things, and he wrote poetry in Urdu, mostly a little bit in English, and so I have an idea of what it means to have a poet in the family. And if Derek has children, I know that those children are being aggressively ignored right now. That's also part of being a poet, I think, just disappearing for hours, and the craft takes you away. Anyway, if anyone's looking for children in this room right now, this is Derek has some, and you can probably adopt. They're interested in getting out. I'm telling you that from having that experience. Next prize is called the Mavis Gallant Prize for Nonfiction, and although that is the name, I should say that it's newly sponsored by the Lily and Joshua Rahn Foundation, and the finalists are as follows. Judith Adamson for Ghost Stories on Writing Biography, published by McGill Queen's University Press. Taras Gresko for The Lost Supper, Searching for the Future of Food and the Tastes of the Past, published by Greystone Books. Gail Scott for Furniture Music, published by Wave Books. And final finalist in this category, Don Weeks for Picturing the Game, An Illustrated Story of Hockey. And that is also published by McGill Queen's University Press. The jurors for this prize were Michelle Kupal, Alex Manley, and Julie Sedevi. Presenting the prize tonight will be Alex Manley and Joe Rahn, who is the son of the late Lily and Joshua Rahn, who were responsible for the new sponsorship. So please give Alex and Joe a nice round of applause as they come up here.
Good evening, everyone. About ghost stories, the jury wrote, Adamson's book is as much about her own life as it is about the subjects of her biographies, which is the point. This beautifully written and beautifully rendered memoir flows out of a series of stories of Adamson's life as it intertwines with those of her subjects. The author has a deep understanding of the storied/fictional aspects of biographical and autobiographical accounts of lives, as well as the constant slippage between the two. Adamson's sharp-eyed and enthralling descriptions of her life and her subjects reveal the biographer's and memoirist's craft as two sides of the same coin. About The Lost Supper, the jury wrote, this delectable book combines extensive research, skillful narrative, thoughtful discussion, and writing that is vivid and sensory to deliver a riveting tour of some of the lesser-known corners of the culinary world. Gresko's writing is engaging, amusing, and charismatic. The prose sparkles in a way that makes clear both his writing talent and his passion for food, while thoughtfully and effectively communicating its import to our well-being, both as individual eaters and as a species of them. About furniture music, the jury wrote, this is a challenging and starkly original book. It invites the reader into an engagement with a passionate and articulate mind, while at the same time granting them a great deal of space and agency. The unnaturalness of the prose, carved not at its syntactic joints, but in a way that creates amputated stumps of sentences, elicits a slightly disoriented, watchful attentiveness in the reader. Though it returns often to politics, furniture music isn't interested in grand pronouncements. It's Scott's experience of the way the headlines eat into the everyday, which is a statement all its own. Moody, intellectually stimulating, and often contradictory, furniture music is a call to active thought. Finally, about Picturing the Game, the jury wrote, this is an enormously ambitious book that demonstrates impeccable execution. It achieves what nonfiction books very rarely do. It takes on what might seem to be a niche topic and delivers a book that is pleasurable, informative, and deeply relevant to every reader. Through what must have been a breathtaking amount of research, the author has created an expertly curated collection of images that accompany a wide-ranging set of themes. With its writing that bristles with verve and passion, its remarkable depth and breadth of knowledge, and its skillful handling of a complex mix of verbal and pictorial ingredients, this book is a template for what excellent nonfiction can be.
Good evening. I'd like to say a few words about my parents, the founders of the Lily and Joshua Ron Foundation, sponsoring this year's Mavis Gallant Prize for Nonfiction. Despite a life of adversity, many heart-wrenching losses and challenges, my parents remained lifelong bridge builders between alienated communities. They understood where enmity, prejudice, and demonization lead. Among the intercommunal initiatives, and together with an iconic Québécois institution, the Caisse Populaire des Jardins, in 1991, they opened a branch of the Caisse to embrace and service members of an apprehensive Jewish community. They also established an MUH chair of diabetes research. And in Israel, their foundation has been supporting 6 schools of Hand in Hand, all staffed by 50% Palestinians and 50% Israelis, equally reflected in their student bodies, and all committed to coexistence. One of many such initiatives. Mom and Dad would have been pleased to support the QWF, a vital member of Quebec's multicultural fabric, so invested in creative pursuits that often introduce us to narratives outside of our comfort zones, and yet consistent with their values of nuance, tolerance, and goodwill. On behalf of the Lily and Joshua Ron Foundation, I'm honored to present the 2024 Mavis Gallant Prize for Nonfiction to Gail Scott for Furniture Music.
As the poet says, je est un autre. So, Gail is in Paris and has been for a couple of weeks, where she's working with the translator on her novel, The Obituary, and participating in a surrealist conference and giving some readings. And so she asked me to represent her this evening. My name is Robbie Schwartzwald, by the way. So I'll just read what she sent me. I want to sincerely thank the QWF, and most notably Laurie Schubert, for the tremendous work they do in promoting and serving the cause of writers writing in English in Quebec. I am delighted and honored to accept this prize for a memoir, which is very much that of a Montrealer casting an eye on a group of writers and their lives in Manhattan during the ebullient first-term Obama moment. I am also honored to be part of this immensely talented list of QWF finalists in all categories. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, 2 prizes left, 1 video. How do we all feel? Do you have the energy? Do you have the energy? Yes. We've asked you to sit and drink and clap. It's tough, but I mean, now is when we need you most, right? Close to the end. This is the 3rd video performance from one of the winners of the Spoken Word Prize, Mac Vandenhoeven performing Memory Justice.
I tell my grandmother, whose brain is fogged with Alzheimer's, that I am my brother. He's too far away to visit in these final few moments. Her brow furrows, watery blue eyes squint, but she doesn't protest. She doesn't ask why my voice is higher than it should be, or why I shaved my beard. Her illness swallows her questions. She doesn't ask whatever happened to her granddaughter, or the strange girl with the baggy shirts and the desperate eyes. She stumbles through the creaking house and wonders why I have placed all of the photos face down. Her tongue tingles with the name I have put to sleep. I don't feel bad. I deserve to reach into her past and carve out a place in our future. I deserve to reconfigure her memories since they are already scrambled. To tell her I am my brother is an activity in unscrambling. It is memory justice. I come home to my grandmother, a half-truth, and we share the burden of stolen life. Heal an amputated generation, finally connect now that she no longer knows me. My brother and I eclipsed. The branches of our family tree return to the same gnarled root. The apple refuses to fall. Sometimes it's easier to be erased than remembered wrong. My grandmother beckons me over for tea. Her call and my response finally aligned.
Thank you, Mac. Okay. Now I have the presentation of the QWF Prize for Playwriting. This prize, sponsored by Gabriel Safdie in conjunction with Infinite Theatre, is awarded every 2 years to a play that was professionally published or produced during the eligibility period. And in addition to the $3,000 prize, the winning playwright will be offered an opportunity to have a professional reading or workshop for a future play with up to 5 actors and 1 director, hosted by Infinite Theatre in its 2025-26 season. The finalists are Leanna Brody and Giovanni C. for Salesman in China, produced by the Stratford Festival. Jessica B. Hill for The Dark Lady, published by Scirocco Drama, J. Gordon Shillingford. Mishka Leving for Shorelines, published by Playwrights Canada Press. Julie Tamiko Manning for Miso Shobai, The Water Trade, produced by Tableau d'Hôte Theatre. And Rachel Mutumbo for Vierge, produced by Factory Theatre. Hey. The jurors for this prize were Bonnie Farmer, Emile Scher, and Marcus Youssef. Please help me in welcoming the presenters for this prize, Zach Fraser, who's Artistic Director of Infinite Theatre, and Gabriel Safdie.
I'm using this mic because it seems like it's been a bit lonely tonight, so it's a pleasure to be with all of you and so much admiration for all of you that play with words to make sense of the world. About Salesman in China, the jury wrote, Brody and C's adaptation of Arthur Miller's non-fictional Salesman in Beijing is a massive dramatic machine with many moving parts. The playwright's deftly hewn characters and dual language dialogue drive the plot of this opus. It's hugely ambitious. It is also meticulously structured and so remains cohesive and compelling on the page, despite the large number of characters and the fact that it is continually performed in 2 languages simultaneously translated. Ultimately, the story is about fathers and sons. As Miller always argued, Death of a Salesman is. It is on these tragic human terms that Salesman in China finds its climax, its emotional center, and its deepest connection to the brilliant, iconic play that inspired its existence. About the Dark Lady. About the Dark Lady, the jury wrote, "This play is so much fun. It's deceptively simple two-hander that feels like a romantic comedy, but it lands its deeper questions about authorship, power, gender, and the English-speaking world's most famous writer with dexterity, wit, and not an ounce of preachiness." In the production notes, Emilia Bassano is described as someone from a diaspora that has been othered, racialized, marginalized. Shakespeare? He's benefited from the privilege of his sex, race, and culture. So you might expect a weighty diatribe laced with didacticism. And in the hands of Hill, not in the hands of Hill, she has created a delightful, playful, and thoroughly engaging portrait of a dynamic duo in which the bard meets his match. About shorelines, the jury wrote, "Plays that linger, that evoke images we can't shake, are the kind of plays we revisit to better understand our fears and the difficult truths that are easier to sweep away than confront. Cue the spotlight that reveals the price we pay when we bury our heads in the sand. Increasingly, sand is all that is left as fresh water recedes in Mishka Levin's harrowing shorelines. Her gift as a playwright is to create a poetic vision of a world besieged by a crisis of our own making, and make us care about the fate of our four deftly etched characters as if our lives depended on it. A haunting, resonant play depicting characters clinging to hope in a bleak landscape." About Mizushobai, the water trade, the jury wrote, "Rich language, strong characterization, and moving visual imagery. 5 Japanese actors on stage, representing a spirit, and 4 chapters in one woman's struggles and triumphs in Japan, in Canada, in internment camps, and beyond, told through movement, choreography, and choral work. What's not to embrace in Julie Tomiko Manning's Mizushobai? What's not to ponder? I love how Manning mixes lyricism with vulgarity as she depicts a yellow woman's work, cleaning toilets, prostitution, cooking, serving, bearing children, and worth in a world dominated by men. This play is a remarkable achievement of heartfelt emotion and political, societal commentary in a brief one act. Made my mouth water, brought tears to my eyes." And about Vierge, the jury wrote, "Vierge is a play of revelations. With the aid of alcohol, the main characters, 4 sniping adolescent black girls, reveal truths about each other, their church leaders, and their relatives. Its teenage characters feel utterly real in the things they are contending with, sex, guilt, friendship, and desire in a specific religious and cultural context, are compelling, surprising, funny, and emotionally layered. The dialogue crackles, but never condescends. I loved the characters and their collective attempt to name, understand, and deal with legacies of shame in themselves, in each other, and in their world. Rachel Matambo highlights the varying cultural and social differences between girls who immigrated from the same country, showing us how complex the notion of diversity truly is."
I'm happy to be back here again this year and to such an incredibly vibrant Lion d'Or. I feel very impressed. I'm overwhelmed by the display of an incredible lineup of playwrights. I think every category this year has got such an amazing lineup. It's a very, very, I think, very productive year of creativity. I think it's a wonderful thing for English writing in Quebec. I think it's amazing that we're as strong as now and going on stronger with all the challenges we're facing. This is an award that's actually, well, it took 20 years for it to happen with QWF. It's the fourth award that we have this year. I feel that, well, next year I believe we will probably end up having another award, and therefore will continue consecutively because we're getting more and more submissions, and we are. I think well, I believe that drama is such a strong thing in Quebec, really, English-speaking drama. Considering the minority that we are and the challenges we're facing, I think it continues to against the great odds, it continues to thrive, and I think that this year is a good tribute to a good example of what is happening in the genre. We have here the award which I want to announce, and I'm very much looking forward to be here again next year. And we will have, this is now an award that we are very much, let me see. Well, the winner of the 2024 QWF Prize for Playwriting is Salesman in China. Well, we hope. I saw this. Oh, sorry, please go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. Please.
Thank you.
I want to give you this.
Thank you. Thank you
I just want to say I was in Stratford this year. I saw the play. I went to the forum discussion. It was phenomenal. It was wonderful. I'm so happy to see you here, Winnie.
Thank you so
All the
much.
best.
Boy, I'm glad I wrote this. Giovanni said if this happened, I should take it because he got to go on Q and talk about the play and get a mug. And I'm still very salty about that. So he said it's my turn. Thank you so much to Gabriel Safdie, to Zach and Infinite Theatre, to the Quebec Writers Federation, the jury, and our incredible fellow nominees. Oh my God. Mishka and Rachel and Jessica and Julie. I hope I see you all at the bar. On an 8-year project with 20 actors and a creative team from across the country and around the world. Naturally, there's a list of collaborators that is as long as, well, the Great Wall of China. And that's appropriate because collaboration and what it takes to collaborate across barriers is at the heart of what we're talking about in this play. Our collaborators are central, people without whom are headed by our Mandarin translator, Fang Zhang, Heidi Taylor and Kathleen Flaherty of Vancouver's Playwrights Theatre Centre, Brian Quirt of the Banff Centre Playwrights Lab, Anthony Cimolino, and our whole brilliant, dedicated company at the Stratford Festival, our lead dramaturg, Bob White, and of course, Arthur Miller, the great Yingro Chung, and Claire Conceição, who wrote the books. In a cultural moment where it sometimes feels as if not only our art form, but even empathy and decency and respect for the other are battling for survival, it is a privilege to get into a theater with these brilliant artists to tell this true and astonishing story about Arthur Miller and Yingro Chung and what they achieved in China, about the power of theater, about healing, humanity, humility, hope, all the good H's. It's, for me, and I didn't tell him I was going to say this, it's even sweeter to tell it with the great love of my life. Thank you all, and Mom, this is very fresh. We miss you, and this is for you. Thank you.
I just want to say that this very special meeting for me, this play and the award, because my first trip to China in 1983, I was taken first to see some Peking opera, and which I love, which I like. But anyway, I said, well, what about some contemporary theater? What's happening in China these days? This was in Beijing, 1983. And so the director took me to the People's Art Theater, which I didn't know at the time. And we walked in, and lo and behold, I couldn't believe my eyes. There was Arthur Miller, and there was the group of actors just around. He was sitting in the circle, and with the great Ro Chung, the director, who's a central character in the play, sitting around and just getting started. And I was getting started with my journey in China, too. Take care.
Thank you. All right. I should say this, Leanna, I have like 3 Q mugs in the house. The least that I can do is give you one of those. Every time I've guest hosted, just get a mug. Like, we don't know if we'll ever see you again. Here's a mug. I'm going to give you one of those for your play, for your love. Final prize of the night. We do have another prize. I should mention it now. It is the best costume. So if somebody's in the darkness sitting in a gas mask for the last 2 hours saying, I didn't get recognized, it's happening. It's about to happen. But first, arguably more important award here, it is the Paragraphe Hugh MacLennan Prize for Fiction, which has been sponsored since 2006 by Paragraphe Bookstore. The finalists are Susan Doherty for Monday Rent Boy, that is published by Random House Canada. Irina Karafili for Arrested Song, published by Legend Press. And it's Irina, not Irina, my apologies. Heather O'Neill for The Capital of Dreams, published by HarperCollins. Sabrina Reeves for Little Crosses, published by House of Anansi. And Jacob Wren for Dry Your Tears to Perfect Your Aim, published by Book Hug Press. The jurors this year were Daniel Allen Cox, Wendy McClellan, and Anuja Varghese. Presenting the prize will be Julie Sedevi, whose name you might recognize. She was one of the jurors for the Mavis Gallant Prize, and Andreas Casares, representing Paragraphe Bookstore. Let's welcome them up on stage.
Hello, it's a tremendous honor to be here with you tonight to read the comments of the jury about these wonderful books. About Monday Rent Boy, the jury wrote, "This is one of those novels that stays with you long after you turn the last page. It has a masterful plot that leaves few corners unexplored, following several characters over more than a decade, their changing motivations, pangs of regret, and flashes of insight. A masterful story about the real cost of child sexual abuse and the horror of internet child pornography. The writing is fresh at every turn and sparks with life and love from page to page with an unflagging energy even when things turn darkest." About Arrested Song, the jury wrote, "Arrested Song is a captivating novel set on the Greek island of Lesbos during the German occupation in the 1940s. But the book also takes readers a further 3 decades into Greece's modern history, ending in 1970. It was a turbulent time in the country, and Karafili brings her novel to life with well-chosen details and solid research. The story is beautifully told, and the tension is carried throughout the novel. All of the characters are well developed, and there is excellent dialogue to bring them all to life. This is a skillfully written historical novel with all the elements of a great story: plot twists, romance, politics, and fascinating characters. About the capital of dreams, the jury wrote, "Capital of Dreams drops readers straight into a dystopian world and carries them along with a strong narrative and engaging characters. The imaginative engine of this book cannot be exhausted. It is both a riotous, twisting fable and a work of raw emotion. By turns playful and poetic, touched by magic, yet devastatingly real, the Capital of Dreams beckons the reader to follow its young protagonist on a journey through a war-torn land. O'Neill's mastery of language is on full display in this modern fable about mothers and daughters, the perils of growing up, and the power of art to unite, divide, and destroy." About little crosses, the jury wrote, "Reeves has crafted a complex and nuanced portrait of a family coping with alcoholism. The novel paints a vivid portrait of one family's journey over 40 years, and the woman at its center who is at once its most energizing and more destructive force. The voices in the novel, both Cassie's, the narrator, and Nina's, the mother, draw the reader into the story. Along with these compelling characters, one of the greatest strengths is Reeves's urgent and poetic prose. Little Crosses doesn't shy away from the contradictory, the messy, the human. It is a moving and magnetic depiction of family and the staggering capacities for cruelty and love inherent within. And finally, about dry your tears to perfect your aim, the jury wrote, "Subversive and experimental in approach, Dry Your Tears to Perfect Your Aim brings forward questions as urgent as they are conflicted around issues of personal responsibility in times of political turmoil. The book asks readers to confront the ethical, moral, and practical considerations of becoming involved in political struggles, especially when they are not the struggles of your own people. Who has the right to bear witness? Who has the right to tell the stories of others? Does Wren's narrator act out of courage and compassion, or the curiosity of a tourist? Original in its form and passionate in its prose, Wren has offered an important anti-war novel that poses big questions and dares the world to answer.
Thank you very much. Very fitting. This is the last award of the night, because if this was the Academy Awards, this would be Best Picture. That would make me Tom Cruise. Yeah, right. Paragraphe is very proud of its association with the Quebec Writers Federation, and we're very proud tonight to also be the official bookseller of these award shows. Every book nominated outside, go ahead. Every book nominated here tonight is on sale out there. Why not support a writer? Why not? Yeah. And if you don't want a challenging read, we have children's books. Come on, man! We cleaned it up! And of course, we are very proud to present the Paragraphe Hugh MacLennan Prize to Little Crosses by Sabrina Reeves.
Thank you. I'm completely bowled over to be on the same list with these incredible writers who I've been reading for years and whose work just blows me away. And I'm also incredibly honored to be in this room with so much talent and in every category, and a community that is so tightly knit and so supportive of each other. And I'm just incredibly happy to be here and very thankful. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, a big night for Sabrina. Big night. Okay, that's a big round of applause. Sabrina, all the winners, everybody you saw up here. Before we give a final announcements for the night, let me bring Riley Palanca up here to announce the winner of the Best Costume Contest, which I was not aware of. I didn't know that was happening. I thought, man, Montreal's got a real vibe. You know, people really go out of their way to dress wild and weird. What a great city. Apparently it was a contest. I did not know that. I was not told about that. But Riley, why don't you announce this award?
I guess this makes me Tom Cruise. Sorry, Andreas. Okay, so I don't think anyone can tell what the future will be, but based on tonight, I think it's fair to say that the future of literature in Quebec is definitely shiny. As shiny as I am. But this is not about me, tragically. So the most important award that I'm sure all of you came here for is the Best Costume Award, which was decided by the gala volunteers. You had the ushers, you had the people at the front desk. They all looked at everyone, they all decided who had the best outfit. But before we do that, I want to first give a shout out. So this person did not win, but the committee wants to shout them out because they consider them the best dressed couple, but the contest is technically best costume, so it's just a little disqualifying. But we have Chris, who won the Mavis, sorry for giving you the wrong award, the Judy Mappin Community Prize. And Greg, can you just stand up so we can see your lovely outfits? Yes. Yes. Okay. We have this is so competitive. We have a runner-up, which is the fabulous Daniela Norris. Daniela, can you just stand up and show us your outfit? It's over there. Can we have some lights at the back if it's not too much? It's okay. She's lovely. So the winner, I'm going to call the winner up on stage because the winner is going to get a prize, which John is holding here. It's not just a tote bag, which you can buy outside at the Paragraphe table. It is a collection of assigned copies of all the winners from tonight. So it's a lovely prize. So the winner of the best costume is Sebastian Schulman, all the way from upstairs. Come on, let everyone see your fabulous outfit. Okay, here they come, all the way to the stage. Yes. Thank you. Aww. So, do you want to give a speech?
Sure. To everyone who asked who I'm wearing, the answer is Dollarama. So thank you, Dollarama. Thank you to the QWF, and merci Montréal.
Okay, congratulations to everyone. If you were a finalist for an award and you didn't win, you can please pick up your certificate in the lobby and a free QWF membership. Also in the lobby, all the shortlisted books are for sale, courtesy of Paragraphe Books. We would lose my father for many hours in Paragraphe Books as well. Paragraphe Books. took my father, and they should give you books in return now. Also, we'd love to thank all the people who work behind the scenes and make this a very special night. We have names over here. Let's give them a nice round of applause. And it really is quite a special night. You know, there's this idea of like no good thing lasts, and I heard that older people would say that all the time, and I never felt it until one day in Montreal. I used to drive down Bleury to the South Shore where my parents lived, and if I was coming from the plateau, there was a place called Piz Pistol on the corner of St. Catherine and Bleury where it becomes Park. And they knew my pizza order when I came in. Like, he knew I wanted that spicy cracker thin pizza and a Boreal blonde. And there, it was an Algerian guy, I believe, and it was his he had one server who worked there. And I would say, and can I? And before I could finish, she'd go, yeah, spicy pepper before it go in the oven. She would always like stop me before I said it. And I was known there. I was like the norm of Piz Pistol. They knew me even 8 months I wouldn't go. And then I go one day, I'm like, oh, Piz Pistol, this is great. It's a little earlier. It's not 5 p.m. It's noon, but I'll go to Piz Pistol. It's a Royal Bank now. And I've never been more upset at a bank. Banks are doing bad things, but that was particularly bad. Making it a Piz Pistol, and Piz Pistol just gone forever. And so there's this idea of no good thing lasts, and I attach that to Montreal, where I grew up, and I have 30 plus years of memories. But the QWF sort of flies in the face of that, right? Like, how many years this has been going and going strong. And Laurie said, it's a great audience, and they're enthusiastic, and it's a wonderful night with people who have nothing but love and energy, and it was exactly as advertised. I'm Ali Hassan. Thank you so much for a wonderful night. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Você é meu amor, eu não sou ninguém. Sem você, meu amor, eu não sou ninguém.
Thank you.